The Gambian forces launched the deployment of troops to various health facilities in observance of the World Blood Donor Day. Hotels in Tanzania resumes operations after closing for some months due to the COVID-19 outbreak. And China continues to provide medical support to South Sudan in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. This and more coming on The World Today. Many thanks for joining us. This is Africa TV. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante. And now the news in detail. Now, the Gambian forces has deployed troops to various health facilities in observance of the World Blood Donor Day set aside by the World Health Organization. The Army launched the blood donation drive under the theme Save Blood, Save Lives on Friday with a formal ceremony at the country's main referral hospital in Banjul. Aminata Job reports.
Are we good to go? Yes, sir. I can't hear you. Are we good to go?
Yes, as hospitals continue to cry for insufficient supply of blood, the Gambia Armed Forces mobilized troops to various health facilities in observance of the World Blood Donor Day as set aside by the World Health Organization. The mission this year followed a launch of a blood donation drive under the theme Save Blood, Save Lives, with the slogan Give blood and make the world a healthier place by the country's Chief of Defense Staff, speaking ahead of the activity at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital on Friday. Major General Yankuba Edrame stated that the Army's responsibility is not only to secure the country in times of conflict but also to support the people in the times of needs. Hospitals being in desperate need of blood, he said the Army has assigned itself with the commitment to save lives beyond just the battleground.
Perhaps, if I may assert, the Gambia Armed Forces, during the period under review, we've been the largest single blood donor to Edward Francis Teaching Hospital. Each time this hospital is desperate in need, more so in the context of blood, the first port of call is the Gambia Armed Forces. And we've always obliged you with that extra sacrifice and support because that's what we want to give back. This time around, we are saying, every now and then you come to us asking for blood, especially when you're in desperate conditions, in their need. We've always obliged you. But this time around, we are saying, we want to bring it to your doorstep. And we want to come in a large number to contribute meaningfully in terms of the quantity and quality of blood we give. And trust me, we have quality blood. You know why? We do training, we don't sit and eat. Right?
He described the initiative as a means to popularize the importance of serving the country with unreserved commitment to saving lives. The Deputy Chief of Defense Staff, General Mahmoud Cham, encouraged the public, especially the youth, to join the voluntary service to save lives at the most critical time.
Especially the youth, is that let's rally together, respect our leadership, and move forward to focus our attention on educating ourselves, on working, because our enemies are ignorance and disease and poverty.
The Director, Gambia Armed Forces Medical Services, Dr. Alkali Conte, noted that blood donation could result in the reduction of maternal mortality, which is among the major concerns in the country. This, he said, was one of the reasons why the blood donation by the Army was ongoing beyond the Greater Banjul areas.
Initiative, we want to do a countrywide blood donation. So as we are speaking now, what is happening at this hospital is the same thing that is happening in all over the country. But just to give you a summary of what is happening countrywide, Yundum Barracks have sent 100 personnel to become a major health center.
The acting director of the health services, Dr. Mustafa Bitey also described the military intervention as laudable as it will develop the blood bank at the country's main referral hospital.
When we are in dire need of blood, you see everybody referring to them, go to the army, go to the army. You've been salvaging, you've been saving a lot of lives for a long time, and we appreciate it a lot. But now you've taken it to a different level. I cannot imagine the director of medical services in the army coming to my office, pursuing, pushing hard to see that, they come in these large numbers to donate blood, like the effort, the passion we see in the army to try to save lives.
June 14 every year, countries celebrate the World Blood Donor Day, which began in 2004 to raise awareness of the need for safe blood and to thank blood donors for their voluntary, life-saving gifts. According to the WHO, blood donations are needed all over the world to ensure individuals and communities have access to safe and quality assorted blood in both normal and emergency situations. For iAfrica News, I am Aminata Job.
Gambia Armed Forces observes World Blood Donor Day in the Gambia, led by the Chief of Defense Staff. Now, from that, we report on matters of the ICC because the International Criminal Court has responded that sanctions imposed on 8 staff by President of the United States is not only an attack to the court but also on the victims of atrocities. The ICC on Thursday accused the United States government of threats after President Trump authorized sanctions against court employees investigating suspected war crimes in Afghanistan by U.S. troops. Sona Tunkara has more details of that in this report.
The International Criminal Court has revealed that members of the U.S. military and intelligence agencies are answerable to atrocities including rape, cruel treatment and sexual violence against detainees in Afghanistan from 2003 to 2004. The ICC began an investigation in March to look into the involvement of the U.S. security forces, Taliban and Afghan fighters in war crimes and crimes against humanity in Afghanistan. The United States reacted with an executive order signed by the President on Thursday to block the financial assets of the ICC employees and ban them and their families from entering the U.S. The ICC, despite the potential challenges, is committed to pursue the cause for justice. The USA attack, according to the court, will not only cage their function, but also for victims who have long been yearning for justice. The ICC, in its Thursday statement, reaffirms support to its staff and officials and maintains commitment in discharging independently and impartially to the mandate bestowed upon them. Since its inception in 2002, some 123 member states across the world recognized the jurisdiction of the ICC in prosecuting perpetrators of war crimes and crimes against humanity and genocide. However, the United States of America shows no sign of confidence in the ruling of the court, calling it a kangaroo court, trying to infringe American sovereignty. For iAfrica TV, Sohna Tunkara.
And from the report there, of course, next we head to Tanzania because Tanzanian hotels are now allowed to return to operations after closing for more than 2 months due to the coronavirus outbreak in the country. Authorities say the businesses cannot continue shutting down, but operators have to work in line with the COVID-19 protective guidelines to avoid transmissions. One of the country's oldest hotels welcomed the government decision to mitigate the impact of the global crisis. Here's more details of that.
The Hyatt Kilimanjaro is one of the most popular hotels in Tanzania. Known as the Kili, this legendary hotel has been a landmark in Dar es Salaam since the mid-1960s. Despite its rich history, it too was not immune to the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. But after more than 2 months of being closed, it has been reopened for business. The Regional Commissioner Paul Makonda says COVID-19 is no longer something to stop businesses from operating.
There's no need to fear. Businessmen should do their business, bars should be open, those who own bands should play music, even clubs. As long as they stay socially distant, They wear masks and sanitize. They are free to do business.
Social distancing amezingatia.
After suspending all international flights as one of the measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus 2 months ago, Tanzania is now encouraging foreign tourists and business visitors to fly into the country. The Kilimanjaro's management says the nature of business has changed, but they've adapted accordingly.
We are able to do or to continue the business because all what we need to do is to maintain the social distancing, wearing the mask, and all other protective details that we should take.
The tourism sector contributes $2 billion to the country annually, accounting for 25% of all exchange earnings. Downtown Dar es Salaam is home to over 100 hotels, but not all of them are open for business. Overlooking Dar es Salaam Harbour and the Indian Ocean, this strip is a hotbed for the country's biggest.
And from the report there in Tanzania, we come back home because the Gambia Transport Union has once is asking the government to consider easing the emergency restrictions on the commercial transport sector. The country registered 28 cases of the coronavirus since its outbreak in March, urging the proclamation of social distancing measures. President of the Transport Union told our Good Morning Africa program that operational costs remain a burden on their business despite the reduction in pump prices, sometimes in May. Details of that in this report by our Makalo.
Number of passengers on commercial vehicles by half to conquer the spread of COVID-19. The Gambia Transportation Union has once again claimed unfavorable working conditions for drivers. Speaking on the Good Morning Africa program on Friday, Mr. Cisse explains that the operational costs remained a burden on their business despite the reduction in pumped prices sometime in May. The Gambia government had hoped that the reduction of about $7 and $9 from the cost of diesel and petrol respectively would result to reduction in the cost of transport for commuters, but the leadership of the Transport Union did not look through the same lens. The Law Enforcement Authority has, since the proclamation of the COVID-19 emergency measures in March, been all out to make sure that all rules were respected. In the process, the spokesperson of the Transport Union brought forward some cases of inequality treatment between commercial drivers and those in the private sector.
Rule for all. Tay munlo ala private vehicle bu ñu full capacity nga ko demal. Police ñu ak bo samé full capacity nga ko demal. Private soldier nga ko demal, taxi ñu nga ko garel.
Xajak sen dafa am ci yef yi.
Mais dafa am bu bi sew de tay. Yo ay fi may fi. Mus nga dégg ñu ne ben private driver bu leen té yokku ko.
Te mu ngi eb luñu wara eb mom tay sax gis na ko
commercial vehicle muska government vehicle mu nga ñu nga mus am because they don't expect anything from them.
The Gambia government haven't eased certain restrictions that featured the reopening of places of worship and markets. Mr. Cisse noted that it was important for the issue of commercial transport to be also considered.
Gis na ne the spokesperson of the government mu Ibrahima Sankare génn na mu xamal ne government dafa am lu ñu wàññi issue de système emergency mooy ne waa ubbi na marché for 6 to 6 mu yokkañ ngeen for 100 people dëj cooji si jumaay so ñu gis ne ku am sañ-sañ def loolu ku am ñemeñ def loolu comme ne automatically war nga mën a ba transport bu jël 40 nit ou bu jël 20 nit di ko yaakaar dëj moom full day issue la programme la ngente mën naa nekk 2 days programme so invite nit ñi ñëw 100 people ñu gather together kon automatically war nga mën a ba driver ñu jël seen full passenger.
Apparently, cost of transport has informally been increased by drivers in protest to what they consider unfair treatment in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. For iAfrica TV News, our Makalu.
And from the report there by our Makalo, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remainder of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Badingol men be Gambia anin Gambia e bantala mbenga nyillon ko TRRC bala doko salla bangole kono andila doko be lori men kan wolen hadama dingol men na nyanto tinyata nyim banko kanjang kabirin July karo 1994 sangola kana January karo 2017 sangola woto momo yalon ko e mantorata nyi wato kono andi man futa TRRC follow pour que la kuma kan di safo me statement no ye fere ke ye futa TRRC ye la kuma kan di atariya nyama yo pour kana TRRC ye fen kenam pasoti kana futa je wala fen dépense pour ka futa TRRC kela kuma di abe seyndile male barem be nyim fanan ko en la ko pour ka statement o fanan di amanke ko momo yela kuma di TRRC ibelo la television nyatole mobe jube wotude tele bulu ni laptop ka testify mobe yela moy mobe je isa o kenole bar ni man lef wo fananna isa kuma dinole ayatra molke kango moy barete nyaada jela nindu man lef wo fananna isa sino inin commissional damma aliye kacha ayatra mote bole kalama andu nimme lefta kanyinke isa katoke yin telephone number kumandi pour ka TRRC sotono 7704988 7704988 wala 7415937 7415937 ala baraka mobe sadake TRRC dokor.
Welcome back. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV, and now to the rest of the stories. Now, in an effort to help the government in the fight against hunger amidst the coronavirus global pandemic, the Banjul City Council began food distribution to vulnerable families in Banjul. Following the declaration of the state of public emergency by the head of state, Banjul launched the city's relief initiative to help those who were not fortunate to receive from the central government support. More on that in this report by Juldenjai Sware.
Banjul City Council on Thursday commenced the distribution of over 2,000 packages of food to households under the Banjul Relief Initiative aimed at helping residents of the capital city amidst the coronavirus global pandemic. The initiative was launched in March to help mitigate the unforeseen circumstances of COVID-19 with the number of cases on gradual increase. The mayor of Banjul, Rohimalik Lo, noted that the outbreak of the virus has not only impacted the daily lives of people, but also the operations and productivity of all sectors of development. With support from the Banjul Relief Initiative, she said the task force was able to conduct a baseline survey through which her council lobbied for support from different organizations and philanthropies to cater for the needs of individual households in Banjul.
50% of the households have already received their packages, and this second phase will be distributed to the remaining households that didn't benefit from the government's package. Allow me to inform you that the food assistance distribution will commence today for a maximum of a week. Finally, as we launch the distribution of the food assistance, I wish to thank all the donors who contributed towards the success of the initiative in one way or the other.
Chairperson of the Banjul Relief Initiative, Munafi Bari, emphasized that the initiative was aimed at complementing the efforts of government in the fight against hunger, mainly as a result of COVID-19 emergency restrictions.
From the interventions of the various stakeholders, we were able to do a 2,500 package of 25 kilograms of rice, 4 kilos of sugar, and 1.5 liters of oil. That package will be distributed to 2,500 households. And like we said, since COVID has not gone, we still have some money left, and we're waiting to see what we can do further as a follow-up if
we have started with this 2,500.
She explained that the council, being the representative of the people, was tasked with the responsibility to reach out to all deserving homes for the distribution process. She used the chance to call on the public to strictly observe the COVID-19 preventive measures, such as social distancing, as a means to contain the spread of COVID-19. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Suare.
The Banjul City Council there supporting vulnerable families in the capital city amidst the impact of the global pandemic. Now, South Sudan has received another medical support from China in the fight against the COVID-19 global pandemic. China has provided medical and technical assistance to many African countries, including South Sudan, to contain the deadly disease. Here is more of that.
The donation includes protective clothes, face masks, surgical masks, and surgical gloves. Beijing says it will continue to support South Sudan's hospitals. South Sudan's task force on COVID-19 has reported an increase in the number of people infected with the coronavirus. The country has one of the most underdeveloped health sectors in the world.
This is the latest action which demonstrates Chinese government and the Chinese people's commitment to support African countries' effort in containing the COVID-19.
South Sudan has only recorded a few deaths from COVID-19. The government attributes that to the assistance it is receiving from international donors, including China.
It is not the first time that the people of China has been standing with the people of South Sudan. You have been with us in all difficulties. China has never turned its eyes.
But it is now the rainy season in South Sudan, and the government says waterborne diseases are becoming common and malaria cases are also rising. China says it is committing $2 billion to help economies of developing countries recover from the disruptions caused by the coronavirus pandemic. But South Sudan's government says it still needs more support to keep people healthy.
To Nigeria, because the Nigerian communication industry has been adversely affected during this global crisis of COVID-19. Like many other sectors, the traditional media is on its knees due to lack of business to maintain normal operations. As we feature in this report, some media chiefs are worried of the situation.
Empty offices and depleted revenue rocks this magazine outlet run by Dan Akpova in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. The crippling effect of the coronavirus on all sectors of the economy is felt more by the traditional media like this one. Advertising revenue remains a core stream of earnings for them. But as other businesses are forced to cut back on advert budgets, the outlet has lost more than half of its revenue since the lockdown.
The greatest challenge, like I said earlier, is lack of revenue. The revenues are not coming in like they should. We've lost 60% of the advert revenue that used to come. And that has a telling effect on the business. You know, but I don't know how that's going to come back, because now people have gotten used to working remotely. So the coronavirus had made people look for different ways of doing things.
Well, viewers, of course, that's all we have for you in this news bulletin. But for more on this and other stories, you can also log on our website on africa.tv. Well, once again, many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.